Did they perform better than I thought they would? Sure. Yeah. I mean, because I had them pegged as a 78 win. They finished, like 83, something like that?
83-79, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, did they outperform my prediction? Sure. Was I predicting disappointment? And here we are.
Actually, you actually worked. Actually, you predicted a 78 win season. So technically, the Mariners actually exceeded what you were expecting. So
no. That's what I was saying.
That's a little growth right there for you. So that's actually pretty good. Much better than what Stat Guy, who actually over-evaluated his team. No, I'm kidding, Stat Guy.
No, that is not good.
That's just me poking at you a little bit. But I know. Hey, real quick, Melvin Johnson commented. He's a Yankees guy. He's with Elite Sports Entertainment Network podcasting, and nice. I'd like to get Melvin, if you can, man, put in the comments, man, what your expectation is for the Yankees, given the Rizzo injury and the Nestor Cortez missing the lineup. How do you feel going into the postseason, coming off the bye week against whoever it is you're going to face?
I mean, does can you do the poop emojis on YouTube? Is that? Oh, wait, he's on Facebook. I know you can do that. This is that like there wasn't going to be any other answer. Of course, you're going to say we're going to go get a ring. Like, why wouldn't you say that? I mean, if the Mariners had their hat in the ring, am I going to say that? Of course. Nobody's played a game yet.
Man. Yeah, but again, I mean, I really do think I'm really excited about the postseason round. So what's the other postseason game? Wild card game on the AL side, Stat Guy. Is it the Royals? Is it the Royals versus
Royals and Orioles?
Okay. Yeah, okay. Hey, that's gonna be a good series right there. This Royals team is really, really good, honestly.
Win showing out for me.
The Royals team is really good because they have somebody who 90% of the time would be winning the MVP this year that's not going to get it because of the year that Aaron Judge had.
For sure.
Because Bobby Witt Jr., what he did this year in Kansas City is an MVP caliber season 90% of the time. It's just because
I don't think Aaron Judge will get he'll get on the I guess he'll get, yeah, you're right. He'll get on the AL side. Yeah. But I mean, good God, man. I mean, if you had to say, an MLB award or MVP, I mean, it's got to go to Shohei.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just looked. The guy had 54 home runs, 59 stolen bases. He hit a 312. He drove in like 127.
Yeah, I mean, and didn't he just miss was it him that missed the Triple Crown? Just barely missed the Triple Crown?
He missed the Triple Crown by 2 percentage points batting. Luis Arraez hit 14. Shohei hit 312.
I mean, he literally almost got the Triple Crown. That's how good the season.
Well, speaking of Luis Arraez also made history yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
Now he became a 3-time batting champion, as in he's won the batting title the last 3 years with 3 different teams.
Wow. That's impressive.
Did it with the Twins.
That is honestly impressive.
Did it with the Twins in 2022. Did it with the Marlins in 2023. Did it with the Padres this year.
I wish Abreu could have had that kind of luck for the Astros. That'd have been really super nice, considering we got him a year after his National League MVP. He comes to Houston, to where he poops the bed so bad, we got to sit him down to the minors to really figure out his swing, and then he could never figure it out, so they wound up releasing him. I mean, come on, Abreu, couldn't you have done that for the Astros? What the hell?
Well, I mean, like if we're just making stuff up, it would have been nice if maybe the offense showed up so Logan Gilbert could have won a Cy Young.
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Let's go to some football. There's some fun football going on.
All right, what do you got?
Well, I mean, the thing that I said this morning with the college football, the Big Ten and the SEC are meeting, I think, next Thursday to discuss scheduling, which basically means there's talk of the Big Ten and SEC completely dissolving altogether and doing one 34-team conference where you just schedule 12 games against everybody in the conference.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're there anyway. Why not?
I mean, right now you have 3 non-conference games and then your 9 conference games. well, these are the two best conferences in the country anyways, so fuck playing all these cupcake schools and non-conference schedule and just be here's your 12 games. May the best 4 teams win because whoever has the best 4 records is going to the college football playoff anyways. Exactly. And probably 8 of those teams would anyways.
Yeah, and when I can't post that nonsense. As a Husky fan, keep that Duck stuff to yourself.
Hey, congrats though to Alabama for taking out Georgia. But I gotta tell you, I thought Georgia almost came back. I mean, they started out 28-0. It looked like Georgia was going to mount a comeback. Of course, it got squashed ultimately in the end. But good game for Bama. You can definitely feel Nick Saban all over the place, I think, in that arena. But, I don't know if I totally agree with the fact that Bama got ranked number 1 and then Texas got ranked bound number 2. I understand people are going to say, well, they did play a 2 versus 4, so I get that. But at the same time, I also know that Houston has blown out. I mean, not Houston, I'm sorry. Texas has blown out every team they played, to include, at that time, top 10 ranked Michigan. Mm-hmm. And I felt like, this to me is just another example of sometimes people's personal opinions outweighing it. But it's okay because I got a friend of mine, he's my old first sergeant. He was giving me crap yesterday about how Bama really is the rightful. I said, that's fine because you know what? We got to go through Georgia next, Oklahoma, Missouri. We got a full slate of SEC tough guys. And when we come out of that ahead, I swear we have the opportunity to get back number 1, is what I'm getting at. We still have a very tough SEC team ahead of us.
Are you a Bama fan?
Huh?
You're a Bama fan?
He's a Texas
fan.
Oh.
No, I was saying my first sergeant is a Bama fan. Oh, I see what you tried to trip me up. I see what you did there. You mind good, I think.
Schools for whoever's in first. Like, what are we doing?
It's just, but I understand. Okay, the pollsters are going to bump us down 1. I guess that's something they felt like they had to do. And it's up to Texas, really. It really is up to Texas. If they want that number 1 spot back and basically to quail all the people, they've got to go through Georgia and several other teams, that's on their schedule, Oklahoma and so forth. And if they can do that, then, there's no reason why they shouldn't have that number 1 designation. But at the end of the day, though, does it really matter? Because at the end of the day, there's 12 teams. Nobody's going to give a damn about a designation. It's going to be how you do and how you perform, right? So
if you're 1 or 2, it makes no difference at all.
It really doesn't. It really honestly doesn't.
It used to, right? Because you didn't want to get bumped out of the top 4 because it was, just stupid because college football just did nothing dumb stuff. But now that there's 12, if you're ranked in the top 10, it doesn't matter, right? Like you're getting in there most likely. So, with Alabama going 1, sure. Whatever. Yeah. But sure. I do think that the Longhorns probably have the best shot at a title, though.
Right. I believe that as well. I like, at the end of the day, what I really honestly like, and what I think Texas benefits the most out of this. And it's unfortunate that, Quentin Ewers went down, but it really gave us a really good insight as to, can Archie Manning, is he really as good or was he just hyped up? And I think Archie Manning is really getting, number 1, he's getting a lot of valuable game experience because he will be their starting quarterback next year. So this really is a buildup for what we're going to get out of Texas, over the next 2 years after Quentin Ewers goes to the NFL. So, in all honesty, I look at the positives of that, and it's amazing. And I know Quentin Ewers will definitely go in the draft. I think he's going to go to the Giants. I saw some speculation where he might go there, but I hope he doesn't. But
he is. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
They are not DJ. Like that's not a real
thing. Where do they have him? Where do they have him going?
Giants.
The last time I heard it's just some rumors, but I had rumors that I think it was on I don't know if it was Facebook friends of mine or not, but they were just talking about speculating that he could possibly go to New York Giants. But
I think all of the Daniel Jones truthers out there have finally started to fade away. What's happening, Chad?
Hey, what's up, Chad? Hey, let me ask you this. I almost think Carolina could have done themselves a better service by not putting Dalton in there. And what I mean by that is, if they really don't believe in Bryce Young, right, why not take another bite at the apple and just tank, go down to number blase last, take another shot, and maybe go get a Quentin Ewers or somebody that's a little bit more prototypical size.
Quentin Ewers will not go number 1 if Carolina gets number 1.
No, but I'm no, because you got Jalen Milroe. There's a lot of really. My point is, there's a lot of really good quarterbacks that I think are better suited for them versus Bryce Young. And so I almost kind of think, you're not going to win the Super Bowl. Let's be honest. Carolina's not going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to maybe with Dalton, maybe salvage a 500 record, possibly. But at the end of the day, if you really want to get ahead or have a legit shot to get to that next level, and Bryce Young isn't your guy, why not just let it go? Let the season go. You're already a disappointment, and just take another crack at taking a better quarterback.
Yeah.
And by the way, Chicago, you're a bunch of donkeys at draft because everybody knows now how good Jayden Daniels really is, and you really did poop the bed. I mean, on honesty,
I'm not going to go that far. We're going to say this: Jayden Daniels has
but at the end of the day, I think you're going to find out.
No, because Jayden Daniels has a better head coach in Dan Quinn,
and
Matt Eberflus, and he's got Cliff Kingsbury as his offensive coordinator. A freaking competent offensive coordinator that knows what the actual hell he is doing.
So, to be fair, though, I think the way that Chicago calls that offense, Jayden Daniels probably actually would have worked in it better.
Well, here's the thing, though. Caleb Williams' offensive coordinator in college was Cliff Kingsbury. They tried to get Cliff Kingsbury into Chicago because they knew the Bears are going to draft Caleb Williams.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the way that the Bears do call it, probably actually would have favored Jayden Daniels' play style.
That's why I think Daniels is having more success right now is because of the offensive coordinator.
But I also don't think that Caleb Williams' decision-making is all the best either. I don't think it is.
He's a rookie, though. I mean, it's going to get better.
Jayden Daniels is a freaking rookie. Don't come here with that rookie bullshit. Stroud was a freaking rookie. Out of freaking Ohio. Of all places, Ohio.
So they both have better offensive lines, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, that goes back to my point where Chicago is drafting donkeys because they haven't done anything for that offensive line. No, really. No, that's a good point. What have they really done to upgrade that offensive line to even give their quarterbacks a chance, right?
I mean, they took an offensive lineman number 10 last year who actually had a really good rookie year last year, but he struggled this year. There's not much you can do about that. Tevin Jenkins was the number 1 ranked offensive guard 3 years ago, and Bears got him in the second round. He's dealt with injuries the first 3 years of his career, but this year he's playing at a great level. They lost a center who was with the organization the last 9 years and didn't have time to replace him because the center basically left the first day of training camp. So they didn't have a chance to get a new center. And then their other 2 guards, one guard doesn't want to be here, and the other guard is only in his second year also. So their offensive line, 4 of the 5 starters are in their second year or third year. Like, they are very –
You said it. One offensive lineman doesn't want to be there. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of players that don't want to truly be there. I mean, nobody wants to be on a losing team, right? And I don't know. I mean, again, what have they done in free agency to even address the offensive line?
So they did.
I'll give you the number 10 not panning out or the other guy getting injured. Okay, those are things you're right. Because we drafted Tyler Guyton, and I'm not a Tyler Guyton fan either, but they drafted him. So, I mean, I get that point of it all. But what have they done in the offensive line and free agency, or even bringing in maybe a better developmental offensive line coach to get these guys right?
That's the thing. Like, when you have that many young guys on the offensive line, you're not going to go spend money in free agency because you're hoping that these guys pan out.
Well, they did bring a guy in. I forget who it is offhand, but they did bring in an offense.
It was the Chargers offensive line coach they brought in also, who was one of the better offensive line coaches in the NFL. They brought him to Chicago this year to help the offensive line.
Their offensive line feels a lot like the Panthers offensive line. Like, it's underwhelming. The only thing they did do is they got weapons for Caleb Williams to throw to. The problem is if you're running for your life, it's hard to complete those passes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to throw a pass when you're laying on your back 7 times in a game.
No, and that's what I mean. So, like, I can't really say that they drafted the wrong guy because that offensive line is terrible. Now, with that offensive line, do I think Jayden Daniels might have had better luck? Maybe, just because the skill set is there. But let's be honest, nobody was going to be good behind that offensive line. I mean, that's why Bryce, ultimately gets benched and why he got hurt last year. It's why you have guys like Anthony Richardson getting hurt, because that.
I don't know if you can use Bryce, because in all honesty, Andy Dalton has played much better than Bryce, and he's got the same damn offensive line. So I don't. All the rest of them I'll give you, but the Bryce Young, I don't.
No. There's a distinct difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's because Dalton's been in the league. He's played behind bad O-lines.
He knows how to get rid of the ball quick. Bryce Young does not know how to get rid of the ball quick.
He's delivering much faster.
Yeah. And like, that's Dalton knows, like, if he's got a guy coming up the middle unblocked, it's like, oh, shit, I'm just going to throw it over here for 3 yards versus Bryce Young's going to hold on to the ball until the guy's practically in his lap.
Well, and that's why, Anthony Richardson is getting beat up too, ultimately gets hurt, and veterans come in and play well because they have a quicker release because they've been in the league. They understand what it is. You're watching guys with no NFL or very limited NFL experience getting lit up because they don't get to hold the ball as long as they did when they were in college. So, I mean,
you know what's interesting though about that is, and I saw that on I think it was Facebook. They had a interview with Flacco at the end of the game, and he said that because they were asking him if he felt like he was still relevant. Said, well, Anthony Richardson said that his mother is 8 days older than me, so
he totally doesn't think I'm. That was hilarious for sure. About your Steelers, so your defense didn't play great, and there are some injuries. But if you go back and watch that, Watt was getting held constantly.
Yeah.
The fact that there wasn't flags on that was insane because one of them, he just straight up almost got tackled.
And the thing too with that game, Justin Fields had a hell of a game. He threw for 323 yards.
It was
Justin Fields had a hell of a game. Russell Wilson is not getting his job back. Justin Fields has.
Well, not as long as he's in the rhythm playing the way in which he's playing. I mean, why would they?
Was it your job if you never showed up?
technically, no. But had he not gotten hurt, Russell Wilson was going to be the week 1 starter.
No, I know.
That's what I'm saying. It was his job to lose, and it's unfortunate that an injury is what caused him to lose that job. Because I would have loved to see those two actually have an open competition to see if Russell Wilson could kind of rediscover his old form, because when you look at how his career path has gone, once he got that starting job in Seattle, it was his job. He never had any competition to lose that job. Then he got traded to Denver. It was his job. He never really had any competition to lose that job until he completely shit the bed at the end of last year. This would have been really the first time that he went to an organization where he would have had to actually fight for a starting job. And I would have loved to see if fighting for his starting job would have brought out a better side of Wilson.
They kind of weren't making him fight though, because they told everybody that this is Wilson's job, right? So clearly there wasn't that much of a competition. So,
I still think there would have been, just because I think Wilson could have saw what Fields was doing and kind of look back and be like, wow, this is me 10 years ago. This is how I played 10 years ago. And maybe that would have woke him up a little bit. Been if I'm not careful, I'm not going to be here much longer as a starter.
No, see, I don't think it would have. I mean, some of that is because, here in Seattle, obviously we got to see him a lot, right?
No,
and just a couple times,
just a few games.
The biggest thing is, as soon as he really jumped into that brand 3, stuff, he changed, not just. The perception around, but he changed as a player too, which is why you saw a significant drop off through the years, especially when he got into that, let Russ cook stuff. That did not go great.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. But I do want to throw, going back to Fields, I really got to give Mike Tomlin a lot of credit, because, he took a Fields that just was dysfunctional in Chicago. And for the same reasons that guy was saying, not a good O-line, not good coaching and Eberflus, things like that. But then you take Fields out and you throw him over with Mike Tomlin. And now he's looking great. He's looking like, okay, we could probably run a team with this guy. So
it's because of the offensive coordinator.
For sure. That's what I'm saying. But Tomlin, it's all under Tomlin, right?
Let's calm down a little bit. He's had one really good game.
No, but I'm saying he looks better than what. Yeah, but he still looks better than what he did in Chicago. Yeah. I'm not saying the guy is going to be, a prolific quarterback in the NFL, but he definitely looked much, much better than what he did over in Chicago. And I think that has a lot to do with, like I was saying earlier, about having good coaches, good offensive coordinators, good weaponry. All the little things that it takes. Right? Look at Sam Darnold. I mean, that's another guy we thought a lot of people thought he was going to be a bust. You throw him over in Minnesota, good coaching, good O-line, all the weapons, and now the guy looks amazing. So, I mean, I realize that, and we all recognize that those kinds of things do matter.
Well, and when you look at Fields, the thing that is actually encouraging this year is each week
he's getting better.
He's getting better.
And
so if you're a Steelers fan, you got to love that.
And if you're also looking at it, one thing he's doing this year that he hasn't done in the past, obviously he's passing more consistently. But the other thing is he's still getting his rushing yards because that's a big part of his game. But he's doing less and less designed runs this year, and more so he runs when he has to. And that ultimately, I think, was his biggest issue in Chicago, where no disrespect to him, like there was a lot of times where he ran when he just felt like
I always love that phrase. No disrespect.
Because I don't know how to word it.
About to disrespect the hell out of you.
No, because I don't know how to word it without sounding like I'm like disrespecting him. Like I don't know how to word it because the offensive line in Chicago was so bad that his entire tenure there. There was a lot of plays where I think he panicked too soon and basically just got the ball, took one step, and then just kind of took off running because it's what he was used to because the offensive line was so bad. But there was a lot of games, like if you even go back to last season and kind of watch some of the games last year, he actually did have some pretty good protection there in the second half of the season last year where if he would have just taken a deep breath and actually threw the ball, he probably completes the pass, but he was just so accustomed to bailing out on the play all the time because of the offensive line that he was running more on his own just because that's how he felt he had to play versus now in Pittsburgh. He's finally starting to see what a little extra protection can do for you. Like you can stand back here, you can complete passes, but you still can find a way to run and use your legs because those plays are still going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
And on that note, this show brought to you in part by True Fusion Gym. Use the QR code on the screen, get a free 5-day pass at any of the 3 locations. Pilates, boot camp, yoga. You can find them here in Bellevue, Ballard, and their newest location in University Village. Find your edge at True Fusion Gym. And then, of course, if you want to bet right alongside us here at Coast to Coast, if it pops up, here we go. Use the QR code here, and 125% of your initial deposits, up to 3 of those. And of course, there is a 10% bet guarantee. And obviously, as we talk about some of the lines and stuff during the week, you can jump right on Bet Us and bet right here with us on Coast to Coast.
All right. I got a question. I got to do a rest in peace, man. We lost to Kembe Mutombo today to brain cancer, and our hearts and prayers go out to him and his family.
And he was only 58. Like it's
he's young. He was young for sure, and he had such a larger than life, personality. I just always loved the little finger wag thing, I just love that,
Yeah.
So but, I got a question for both of you now, since we were talking NFL before.
Yeah.
And after watching the games yesterday and then having 2 games tonight.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say that
before you ask your question, can we just say that regional Monday Night Football is stupid?
Yeah. This is the last week for it though for a while.
So, yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
But yeah. Is it safe to say that Minnesota might be the most complete team in the NFL right now?
After what the Bills did yesterday, yeah.
And after how the Chiefs
that big poop in the bed,
and after how the Chiefs looked against the Chargers yesterday, like yes, the Chiefs are 4-0, but the Chiefs really have not looked good in any game apart from the first game against.
And Baltimore. Now with Rashee Rice going down with a possible ACL tear.
Oh, it's not possible. It's gone.
Is it a than okay. Either way, I mean, now they lost Rashee Rice. Let me ask you a question, both of you guys now.
The season ended for Rashee Rice the way it should have, right? He went right into a collision and left the scene.
Oh, damn, Bo. Was it too soon for that?
Well, did you hear the thing that might happen now? And I'm going to feel bad for him, but at the same time, it's going to be kind of par for the course. The NFL basically said they were going to let the legal process play out, and a lot of people said that it could take until December before there was a verdict on Rashee Rice.
Sure.
I guarantee there's going to be a suspension coming in 6 weeks. What's the point now? Because he's not playing. Like, you don't have to worry about the legal process playing out. So now they can be like, you know what? Screw it. You're not playing. We'll just give you
So if he gets suspended, it'll actually get pushed into next season.
Yeah, he can then appeal it though. But that's what I'm saying. Like they can like go kind of like speed up the legal process a little bit now, just because it's like he's not playing. You don't really have to worry about like him affecting a game or anything. Like let's just speed the process up and get the ruling here.
Sure, stat guy. Let's just change the whole legal position for an NFL player. Sure.
It's been that way forever, Jay.
Let's just give him a little bit more, stat guy. Is there anything else you want to change about the legal due process?
The league has judges on staff. Like what? What
you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? Hey, real quick though. Now that he's out though, now the next number one guy is going to be Worthy. How much more production do you see coming Worthy's way? Because he's really been kind of hit or miss, right? Week 1, he goes crazy. Week 2, he's almost like non-existent. Week was it just last week or this last game? He's all over the place. I mean, how much more do you think it's going to affect? And I really am speaking from a fantasy perspective.
Not much. I don't think much because Kelsey finally showed up yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And that's the key. Like Kelsey's going to be the one getting more production now, which ultimately for the Chiefs to be at their best, he needs it. But Kareem Hunt looked good yesterday. If Kareem Hunt can consistently give you 70 to 80 yards, it basically makes up for not having Pacheco. So now it's still like Kareem Hunt and Pacheco are kind of the same type of running back, just Hunt's about 7-8 years older. So it's like you have Hunt, you have Kelsey, Pacheco's going to be back eventually. Worthy might get more touches, but in terms of overall production, I don't see it increasing or decreasing really too much because Kelsey's the one that's going to be affected the most by it.
Yeah, and I saw Nick Chubb now is starting to get back into the practice uniform. So I would imagine, what do you think? What do you guys think? 4 weeks?
2.
Is it 2? You think he's going to be back in the
league? He was put on the PUP list, which means he's out until week 6. Not saying he's going to be ready in week 6, but he's got basically 2 weeks until he can play.
Interesting. Okay. But
yeah, with Minnesota yesterday, though, they have now beaten San Francisco, who a lot of people think are a Super Bowl contender. They've now beaten the Texans, who a lot of people think are a Super Bowl contender. And they have now gone on the road and beaten the Packers, who a lot of people think are one of the better teams in the NFC in 3 straight weeks. I'm so done with all these people now overlooking Minnesota. I am so done with all these people saying at some point Sam Darnold is going to show up because we have the stats to back it up. All I've seen is a Sam Darnold that leads the NFL in touchdown passes right now.
Yeah, people can always say what they want to say, but production is production.
And Sam Darnold set an NFL record the other day as the first quarterback in NFL history to have at least 2 touchdowns or more in his team's first 4 starts and have a quarterback rating of over 100 in all 4 of those games.
No, I mean, playing well. Like I said before the season started, like this is the best team he's played for. I mean, so I wasn't shocked to see him play well. Obviously, I'm shocked to see him play as well as he is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I expected him to have a resurgence in his career because he just finally has a team.
And the scary part about this is Justin Jefferson isn't getting the yards that you would think he would normally be getting. He's only had 1 game over 100 yards so far. He had 85 yesterday. He had, I think, 81 against the Texans. And then week 1, he only had like 40 yards. So he's not getting the yards that he would accustomedly get. But he's also had a touchdown in every single week.
Well, and the biggest thing is you're watching him make the little plays that matter.
Yep.
Right. Like he's not getting the splash plays that you would expect him to get.
Right.
But he's getting those 3rd down touches that are moving the chains.
And that's something he didn't get last year. It was always first or second home run ball to Jefferson, and then he would go to KJ Osborne or Hawkinson or Addison after that. But now it's like the most touchdowns he's ever had in a year is 7, which came 2 years ago when he had over 1,700 yards receiving. He's already got 4 touchdowns in 4 games, so he's going to have a career high in touchdowns this year if he doesn't get hurt. But Darnold is just like doing all that. He did all this without Addison. Addison came back yesterday and had 2 touchdowns. He still hasn't had TJ Hawkinson yet. It's once Hawkinson comes back, this offense is going to be very difficult to defend because Aaron Jones looks like he's playing at a level we haven't seen in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Well, you know what I really like on your team the most that I still feel like doesn't get enough looks at is Naylor. I like that Naylor kid. He really, he's quick. He's got great hands, and as you can see, they don't have to have him all the time, but when they throw the ball, he gets those big plays, and he doesn't let you down. And I really think that's just another great weapon for them and for Darnold. I think Darnold realizes that.
Mm-hmm. I just like the way that Kevin O'Connell has basically saved Sam Darnold's career. Like,
but also your defense is really playing good too. So don't overlook
up
Brian
until
Flores.
the second half yesterday. I was very upset with Brian Flores yesterday.
Well, everybody's gonna have a rough game yesterday. But yeah.
Well, and this is what I was gonna say earlier: is the Niners win, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna say something to Robert here in a second. How he said if he makes one of those field goals, Minnesota loses. Go back to the end of the third quarter when Sam Darnold got intercepted at the 2-yard line. It was not an interception.
That was not an interception.
The ball was bobbled as he went out of bounds. You don't intercept. You don't intercept that ball. Minnesota's at the 17-yard line. They're already in field goal range, and there's a chance that they get another touchdown. So what is 7 minus 6? 1. Minnesota still wins by a point after that.
That's what I'm talking about. Show that math skills.
Like seriously though, everyone says you missed 2 field goals. That's 6 points. Green Bay lost by 2. That means Green Bay wins by 4. It's like no. Minnesota also had an interception that never should have been an interception that essentially took points away from Minnesota too. And that game was very similar to the Texans game and very similar to the 49er game where the score was a lot closer than it should have been. Green Bay got their last touchdown basically in garbage time where Minnesota was playing prevent defense because they were up by 9 with 2 minutes.
Yeah, they were really trying to lose with prevent.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was very pissed because Brian Flores never took his foot off the gas against Houston. He just went after CJ Stroud that whole game, and there's a reason why it was 34-7. Yep. They should have been doing that same thing against Green Bay yesterday because being up 28-7, you keep your foot on that gas until the fourth quarter. But because you let up midway through the third quarter, your defense wasn't able to get that same edge back, and it almost cost you. But even then, Minnesota still had a 9-point lead with 2 minutes left. That game wasn't as close as what the score showed, just because Minnesota basically just played prevent defense, and like Green Bay just drive down the field with a minute, and then they're like, "Oh, all we need is get the onside kick." And they got
prevent makes me mad every time I see it put out there.
Yeah, you're not gonna win with prevent defense. I mean.
It prevents you from winning. That's what prevent. Exactly.
That's exactly what they look at it. What about this? Buffalo. I'm gonna go back to the Buffalo game real quick. I cannot believe. I thought the Dallas Cowboys, had a hard time, stopping the run. But Jesus, after watching that game and what Henry and Hill and Jackson and what they did to that team, they could have stopped that run if they saved their life. I mean, Jesus, he was what? Henry was like 1 yard. Shy of 200. By the way, Baltimore, when your boys put up 199 and the game is closed out, just give him one more damn run and let him get to 200.
They
tried. They gave him 5 carries. He couldn't get that yard.
Yeah, he was at 197 yards with I think 6 minutes left in the game. They were trying to get him to 100 yards or 200 yards. He had 5 carries for 2 yards at the end of the game. They tried to give him the 200 yards. He just couldn't get it.
What an episode that he put on for a guy that's that big and a little older in the tooth. He still has that little run ability to him. I mean,
and the one where he should have been able to get it, he fumbled the ball.
Yeah,
because he could have had his third score.
Yeah, for sure. But man, that Buffalo defense really, really did not look good,
And going back to Robert's comment before that he made about Minnesota beat a decimated San Francisco team and a decimated Houston team and whatnot. Minnesota beat San Francisco without TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison. We beat San Francisco without one of our better linebackers. We beat San Francisco and Houston without our rookie, Dallas Turner. Minnesota's not healthy either, and they're still winning games.
Well, no. You got one injured guy. I think that's not as much as having Debo gone and having McCaffrey. Well, actually, I think
we had 5 guys out against Frisco. We had no Jordan Addison, no TJ Hawkinson. Justin Jefferson hurt his hand in the second half and wasn't targeted at all in the second half against the 49ers.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, for sure.
And then we had 3 pieces missing on defense. We're not healthy either, and yet we're still winning.
Is it just me, or is San Diego Chargers not able to keep anybody healthy either? Because even though they lost some of the bigger healthy or unhealthy people like Keenan Allen and stuff, it just seems like that team always struggles heavily with injuries.
I think it's just you because the San Diego Chargers don't exist anymore.
Or Los Angeles Chargers, excuse me. I know I'm going back old school, I guess. It's still hard to get some of these damn. I still have a hard time getting the Vegas Raiders. That just sounds such a weird thing to come off the tongue.
If that's the way we're going, then New Jersey has 2 teams.
New Jersey does have 2 teams, and technically Maryland has 2 teams too because Washington plays in Landover.
Yeah, true.
Actually, no. Let me rephrase that. Washington's team address is Landover, Maryland.
Yeah.
But their stadium actually has a Virginia address.
There you go. Well,
yeah. The unsolved mysteries of the world. By the way, though, and I think Philly said it in one of his Facebook videos that Philly has a lot of talent, but he just can't seem to do anything with it. Now, I think that last game against Tampa really, shows that they are having a hard time dealing with not being able to get their talent right.
Well, right now, they're 3-9 in their last 12. So there is a lot of issues right now in Philadelphia. Whether that's Sirianni, whether that's Kellen Moore, who continues to do Kellen Moore things as an offensive coordinator or whatever it is. But right now, as opposed to last year, Jalen Hurts is going to get a little bit of a pass right now because he doesn't have A.J. Brown and he doesn't have Devontae Smith. So right now, he's going to get a small – I'm not saying he deserves it just because he played like shit the last 7 weeks last year. But right now, being that Barkley's really his only true option right now, he's going to get a little bit of a pass if he's struggling right now.
So speaking of teams that are terrible, you now have Doug Peterson leading this Jaguar team to 1-9? 1-9 in their last 10 starts. He got asked specifically in the presser if he was worried about his job. Now, obviously, he said no.
What are you supposed to say?
Well, I mean, that's why I said you obviously say no. Like, of course you're going to say that. But 0-4, 1-9. That's the kind of record that gets you fired.
Yeah. Ask Carolina. They fired Frank Reich starting 1-10.
Well, see, that's an outlier because
I know, but
they're every 7 games. They're like, and you're fired. We don't even care if you were doing okay. You're out of here. So I don't put a lot into.
I guess you could go with Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett was 5-12, and he got fired. So I mean, that's not a great. He should have been the head coach to begin with.
Hey, let's be honest. He only got that head coach job because they were praying to God they could get Aaron Rodgers, and they felt like that was the end.
Exactly
The funny thing is, how did that work for him yesterday against the Broncos when Bo Nix throws for 60 yards and Denver wins?
That game was so horrendously bad.
That was horrific.
Yeah. And the worst part about that is that's the game I haven't watched yet.
You don't want
have to.
No, you don't want to. Skip that whole entire game.
I know I don't want to. I can
tell you. Go right to the press conference.
I don't want to.
Go right to the press conference because Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers' relationship right now is on fucking thin ice. Yeah. Holy shit. If you saw Aaron Rodgers' presser yesterday, holy shit.
Frankie coming in hot.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers' presser?
I did, yeah, because they were talking about, do you think they should dial back some of the plays and, because of false starts? And he's just like, no, this is kind of an outlier.
He said that's one way to do it, I guess, but the other way is to hold guys accountable.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I mean, it's that's a team that seems like it's always on the verge of falling apart, which is just the normal Jets. Like that. Everything I saw out of that press conference is like, yeah, that's everything you see out of the Jets for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
We'll see how they do against Minnesota's defense next week, because if Minnesota's defense gets super aggressive early, there's going to be a lot of false starts on the Jets because they're going to be freaking jumpy as shit.
Well, no, I mean, it might actually be the other way around, because they probably are going to do a lot of timing type of stuff. So they might actually be slow to leave the ball, which would be helpful.
It would be helpful, but Minnesota so far defensively has induced the most false starts in the NFL just because there's so much movement on the offensive line.
They do jump a lot.
That's why there's so much movement on the offensive line that the offensive line doesn't know what to do, and then all of a sudden they just get super jumpy because they're trying to get the advantage before they blitz. Because Brian Flores blitzes so much that it's you need to be ready when that ball snapped or you're screwed. So all that movement up front causes them to be really jumpy.
Before we get out of here, can we just take a moment and recognize that the leader of the divisions are bizarre?
I mean, not all of them. I mean, you expected Buffalo to lead the division.
Yes.
You expected the Chiefs to lead the division.
It's about half of the league. That's
no, I mean, let's just cut the crap. Philadelphia is in third place. Dallas is in second, and Washington Commanders are in first.
Yeah, didn't see that. Didn't see the Vikings. Didn't think that Seattle would be. So I mean, it's interesting.
I think 4 of them we thought were going to be the 4 that were leading, and then the other 4 aren't.
Hey, I just have one thing before we get out of here, and this is to the panel, stat guy, Bo. As much crap as I take on the Cowboys, I expect you guys, when Philly comes back next week, because he's ducking right now because he's in the air.
He'll be here tomorrow.
Hold on. That's right. He will be here tomorrow. I fully expect you to give Philadelphia and Pags as much crap as you've given Dallas. And if you don't, then that just tells me that you guys hate for the Cowboys. It's so bad. It has blinded you to everybody else.
Here's the thing, though. We're not going to
I play you this week in fantasy football. I play you, man. And your team looks pretty good right now. So I look forward to next
we're
week.
We're not gonna have to give Philly sports guy any crap because he's gonna just crucify his team anyways.
Oh, no question.
No. But you better give it to him too, though, because I crucified my team too, and y'all still give me more crap.
Let's be honest. You know I'm gonna.
I'm just saying, nobody takes more crap than this guy. And I get my own team. I make TikTok videos with bags over my head. So come on. I mean, I just want y'all to give him as much love as you give your boy, Jay.
Oh, so Frankie, you are absolutely right. He will want to shift the conversation to baseball, no question. Sadly, I am very worried that tomorrow I'm also not going to have a lot of nice things to say about my team. With the amount of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Hopefully our second stringers step up, but there is a real shot that the Hawks maybe don't look great on Monday Night Football. That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. If you're watching along with us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. And of course, if you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. We got a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. So hope you guys enjoy the games tonight. See you all tomorrow. Trying to start shit on the way out. Here we go.